Hi, honey.
Hi guys. I don't know how long I'll last. I'm not feeling well today, so I might have to go lie down.
Yeah, I have a UTI, so I had to get back in bed. I don't feel good.
Yep,
I
I'm
get
right
it.
there with you.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
but I've been here because it's like this is necessary for healing for me because I can't to me it's just keep going within, keep going within, keep going within, you know.
Mhm.
absolutely,
Feel better
absolutely.
than Mick. I'm going to relax and listen to because I think wait, who's on after us? Well, after this.
Wait,
Right, and I'd
wait,
love to listen to
Nazi,
them. Right, okay, good. All right.
and that'll be nice um, as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get our reading up. I think where we're at, and let's see here. All right, can all take a break. I'm just going to put up a reading, and maybe I'll just read. Uh, wait. Oh. Uh, the one thing the Zoom it moves everything around all the time. It moves the first time I wanted to share, I had to go up on the menu and click it. Once I went up on the menu and clicked it, now it's down in the lower menu, and it's not in the upper menu anymore. So, um, wow, what a dilemma. Okay. All right. We're reading True Empathy from A Course in Miracles, and I'm just going to read. Um, uh, I'll read up to where we are, and then we can talk. But since we're only like 4 paragraphs in, I think it does with some reiteration. The forgiveness of illusions, true empathy. To empathize does not mean to join in suffering, for that is what you must refuse to understand. That is the ego's interpretation of empathy and is always used to form a special relationship in which the suffering is shared. The capacity to empathize is very useful to the Holy Spirit, provided you let him use it in his way. His way is very different. He does not understand suffering and would have you teach that it is not understandable. When he relates through you, he does not relate through your ego to another ego. He does not join in pain, understanding that healing pain is not accomplished by delusional attempts to enter into it and lighten it by sharing the delusion. The clearest proof that empathy as the ego uses it is destructive lies in the fact that it is applied only to certain types of problems and in certain people. These it selects out and joins with, and it never joins except to strengthen itself. Having identified with what it thinks it understands, the ego sees itself and would increase itself by sharing what is like itself. Make no mistake about this maneuver. The ego always empathizes to weaken, and to weaken is always to attack. You do not know what empathizing means, yet of this you may be sure. If you will merely sit quietly by and let the Holy Spirit relate through you, you will empathize with strength and will gain in strength and not in weakness. And basically, what he's saying is, we don't look at, what we consider to be suffering and believe that it's true. We recognize that it is just a story, and in looking at other people and believing a story that they can be broken is really looking at God and saying, well, part of you is screwed up, you messed this up, right? So, and that couldn't possibly be true that, that something is broken or messed up or not right or not correct. So, if we empathize the way the world looks at it, we're going to be just saying, oh, so bad, so sad, sorry for you. And if we look at it as the Holy Spirit sees it, say, oh, wow, I can see that you are strong and resilient and that, all these things that are happening, you are participating in. It's you're participating in the story. It has nothing to do with the reality of what you are. Um, so paragraph 3 says, your part is only to remember this. You do not want anything you value to come of a relationship. You choose neither to hurt it nor to heal it in your own way. This is a kind of an answer to Marcy's question previously. You do not know what healing is. All you have learned of empathy is from the past, and there is nothing from the past that you would share, for there is nothing from the past that you would keep. Do not use empathy to make the past real and so perpetuate it. Step gently aside and let healing be done for you. Keep but one thought in mind and do not lose sight of it, however tempted you may be to judge any situation and to determine your response by judging it. Focus your mind only on this. I am alone, I am not alone, and I would not intrude the past upon my guest. I have invited him, and he is here. I need do nothing except not to interfere. And I see Mickey has her hand up. Please go ahead, Mickey.
Yeah, I always think I'm going to keep my mouth shut, and then I never do. Um, I can't remember who I was listening to. It was either Ken or Keith, um, that really hammered home for me the idea that there is no past, that we can't bring up the past, we can't bring the past into the present because it doesn't exist any longer. And I mean, that's the most obvious one that we can get a hold of, is that the only true thing about the past is that it's not here. It says that in the course. The past is gone. We even recognize that as humans. We like to think about the past and talk about the past and bring things up for reasons why we're feeling the way that we do based in the past, but it's gone. And I finally realized that the other day when I was listening to whatever talk I was listening to, that there is absolutely nothing still here from the past. It is completely gone, and there is nothing we can do to recover it. So if you scroll up just a little bit, Lynn, it was just, you know, all you've learned of empathy is from the past. There's nothing from the past that you would share, for there's nothing from the past that you would keep. We can't keep it, and I'm finally learning this lesson from the course that there's nothing we can do to make the past real. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mickey. And what's so funny about it is the past does not exist because it's only a story in my mind. That's the only thing that ever existed. That's the only thing that's happening right now. There's a story in my mind. That's what's happening right now. And and I'll remember this story however I, decide to remember it. Um, you know, and so, 10 years from now, when you ask me what happened when you were talking with Mickey about the, true empathy, I'd be like, oh yeah, she totally agreed with me and we were all in sync and it was a wonderful time, and but if you had come on and said, I think this is a bunch of bunk and y'all are idiots for believing this, then, in the future I might say, oh yeah, I remember that Mickey, she was a real, yeah, and I don't even talk to her anymore because, she was a bad person. I mean, that'd be my all me. All of it would be me. It wouldn't matter what you said or what you did, all of it would be me. So that's the only thing, only thing I have is this belief or this thought that, what I perceive as my experience is really what happened.
It's all just thought.
Yeah.
This whole business is just thought. We're making it all up. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And you know that because you've seen I've given this example before because I used to do accident investigations. Um and with the accident investigation you go to all the witnesses and you talk to them about what it was that they saw. And you're going to get a different story from every single witness because they're going to tell you from their perspective what it was. And so, and they're also going to maybe assign a motive, try to give you a reason. There's all sorts of things that happen when you talk to witnesses about an accident. But what never really happens is the whole truth about what actually happened. What you never hear. You only hear from their point of view, what they saw. And unfortunately, a lot of accident investigations just go to, well, who has the most prevalent point of view, or which point of view fits my story best, and that's the one I'm going to agree with and say this is the reason this happened. But the reality of it is, uh, nobody knows any of it. And when you look at, an accident, why did an accident happen? Well, there was a tiny mad idea. And somehow or the other, it just keeps being thought the same thing over and over and over. So, that's all it is. Thank you, Mickey. So let's go on to paragraph 4. And would somebody like to read paragraph 4?
I can read,
Thank you, Marcy.
at least for the moment.
Under pressure.
Yeah. No, I need to learn this, so I have to read it. True empathy of him true empathy is of him who knows what it is. You will learn his interpretation of it if you let him use your capacity for strength and not for weakness. He will not desert you, but be sure that you desert not him. Humility is strength in this sense only, that to recognize and accept the fact that you do not know is to recognize and accept the fact that he does know. You are not sure that he will do his part because you have never done yours completely. You cannot know how to respond to what you do not understand. Be tempted not in this, and yield not to the ego's triumphant use of empathy for its glory. Am I moving that down or are you, Lynn?
I'm not moving anything right now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to read the next thing of the trial.
No, I'm wondering if you have any thoughts about this, or anybody have any thoughts about this. What does he mean by um, true empathy is of him who knows what it is? Of course, that him who is both capitalized.
Yeah.
So it would indicate to me that it's the Christ in us that knows what true empathy is, um, and that we can learn what that is if we let Him use our capacity for strength and not for weakness. What do you think Jesus means by that? Our capacity for strength and not for weakness.
I think it's about listening to Jesus, Holy Spirit, and not my own thoughts of what needs to happen next.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think I think the empathetic thing to do the old way is to fix a situation. I don't have to fix anything. But I
That's
sure want to,
perfect.
I still want to know what the hell happened. Why can't they be together? What's where was that moment that happened? I don't care if it's there or not, but I do want it to be there because I want to know. Inquiring minds
Exactly.
want to know.
That's perfect, Marcy. That's perfect because exactly what that is, that's the weakness in saying, I see something's broken and I need to fix it, instead of just being and allowing it to play itself out. You
Right.
know,
Or
that it's a weak thing to want to, let me just fix this so that I don't have to look at that or be uncomfortable anymore. Because isn't that kind of the bottom line? You're uncomfortable and you don't want to be uncomfortable
I'm
anymore.
very uncomfortable in the situation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I wanna, but if I'm not gonna fix it, there's still that part of me that wants to know what happened.
Right. And maybe it's
That,
something that you don't want to know about too. Uh,
yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Well,
um,
I'm in charge, yeah, because I'm always told you're the mother, you're the parent. This person always tells me, well, you're the parent. And now I'm thinking, well, at 14 and 15, yeah, I still have to make sure things are safe and whatever in a reasonable way, but it's not my job to say who should see who and when and how. And do I need to drive somebody whose dad is home when I end up driving the kid to school? He's doing something else, walking the dog or something. And I'm like, why do I have to drive her today when there's nobody going to be talking in the car but me?
Oh, it's getting deep now, man.
I'm I'm the one who's uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm
I mean,
sure
I
they're
can't
uncomfortable.
stand the silence. I hate silence.
So put on the radio. You know,
I did. There was one day I did. Sometimes I put on like religious music just for myself, and then I know everybody else is having an issue with my mind. Oh yeah, I just made them uncomfortable because I put something on that'll say Jesus in it.
oh my gosh, yeah. Boy, you are such an influence on the world. The
Yeah, but it was really
I'm
just for
joking with
me.
you here.
I mean, if you guys don't need to talk to each other and I need some support, I'm going to turn on that Jesus music.
Yeah, yeah, Jesus is just all right with me. Oh my gosh. But do you see what Jesus he's talking to us and saying, well, that's because you do feel weak. You
Right.
feel, you feel like you're being attacked in a way that, you know,
Exactly.
and
I wasn't a good parent. I made a mistake somewhere. How could this happen? Got nothing
yeah,
to do with me.
yeah, exactly. And shame on you. And you should go back to
You.
parenting classes or, I mean,
Oh,
seriously.
I know. I know.
I mean, it's just so funny how, we get caught up in believing that we're somehow or the other, something that we're not, and we have a power that we don't even have at all. Excuse me. So, and this is what we're talking about with empathy. Empathy is not, I gotta fix this. True empathy is not about fixing anything. True empathy is about seeing that nothing is really broken. So, the humility is strength in this sense only, that to recognize and accept the fact that you do not know is to accept the fact that who somebody does know.
Somebody knows.
Yeah. And you're worried, you're not sure that he will do his part because you haven't actually done yours either.
I
And what would
agree.
your part be in this?
Letting
Not to
go.
interfere, not to interfere. We just saw it just in the
Right.
last paragraph, right? It says,
Right.
I need do nothing except not to interfere. So there you are. Oh my gosh. And
I have to tell you something. Oh, finish what you're saying. I have
no,
to
go
say,
ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is me too. This is, I mean, if there's nobody, somebody in this room that doesn't relate to this, then maybe I'm reading it wrong because it's pretty clear to me what Jesus is saying. Anyway, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, it's very funny. But the friend I'm talking about is the one that doesn't want to go to a 12-step group. So what do I, if I say anything about God, she's going to get mad at me. Maybe I just talk God for the rest of the time, and then she won't want to see me anymore. It's just crazy.
That is crazy,
But
but
it does make me laugh.
yeah, and if it makes you laugh, that's the only thing that's important. You understand this. The only thing that's important about all of this is that we eventually remember to laugh.
Yeah.
Because the laughter is what is the healing. It's what is actually going to stop the insane world of the ego. It will no longer, it can't exist when you laugh it away like that. So
Yeah.
it's so important that we do that. Sharon had her hand up a while ago. I hope she's still available.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. What I was going to say is, I mean, you all said it. That's why I put it down. Um, Ego's always weakness. Strength comes from wholeness. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
If we think we're the little self, we will get angry. We will. It's like automatic. It just it's just a weakness that it always feels like it's being, whatever, attacked. Yeah. So strength is to sit in our, in our wholeness and just realize that, like I've been realizing, that we waste time when we're out in the phenomena believing that something can happen to us. I always had a belief, well, I don't want anything to happen to Sharon. But whatever's going to happen to Sharon is already over. So I have to realize that all of that is just the ego distracting me. And that's all. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. And exactly, that's it. It's just ego distractions and has nothing to do with what our purpose here. In fact, our purpose here is to what? Ignore those ego distractions and recognize that they're meaningless. The story that they're telling me is meaningless. There's no rationale behind any part of it. It is like the old west town in the movie when you step back from the lot and you see that it's just the front of the buildings, um, and it looks like a whole town when you're looking at it, but that's it. It's a facade. So anyway, yeah, thank you. Uh, so let's see, where were we? Are you still reading, Marcy? Did you finish this paragraph? Oh, yeah, you did, because we were talking about if we needed to go on.
I,
So,
I can use another break.
okay. So yeah, um, so you're not sure that he will do his part because you have never not done yours completely, which is again, not interfere, just stop. You cannot know how to respond to what you do not understand. And how many times in this book does Jesus tell us, you do not know, you cannot know, you don't have the capacity to know. The ego is impossible. You don't know how this came about. You don't know what brought this thing to be, and just be aware that it is still the tiny man idea, that you're still believing that that you can act and react without God here being helping you and being in charge. We still think we can be in charge. So he says, be tempted not in this and yield not to the ego's triumphant use of empathy for its glory. And how does the ego triumphantly use empathy for its glory? By saying, oh, you poor thing, you poor little being, you poor little thing who are small and weak and unable to protect and defend yourself. I am so sorry for you. I am so sad. I mean, geez, Louise, give me a break. Oh my gosh. How demeaning and condescending that is. Honestly, using empathy to agree that someone is small and has lost something, that what an insult. And that's what Jesus is telling you. You're just insulting them. Don't do it. So paragraph 5, the triumph of weakness is not what you would offer to a brother, and yet you recognize no triumph but this. This is not knowledge, and the form of empathy which would bring this about is so distorted that it would imprison what it would release. The unredeemed cannot redeem, yet they have a redeemer. Attempt to teach him not. So don't be telling God, you don't get it, God. You don't see what's really happening. Let me just show you how bad this guy is and what terrible things he's doing. And if you saw how bad it was, man, you would feel bad too. So, he's saying, don't try to tell God what the problem is. You are the learner, he the teacher. Do not confuse your role with his, for this will never bring peace to anyone. Offer your empathy to him, for it is his perception and his strength that you would share. And let him offer you his strength and his perception to be shared through you. It's if you're out watching your children and they're out playing, whatever it is that they're playing, they're building, castles, or having, whatever, sand castles, or playing on swings, or playing games, or any of those kinds of things. um you know th- you don't go running when the uh, princess, gets upset because her dad is being mean, or whatever story, whatever game they're playing in their minds. I'm trying to think of some way that is a good illustration. Maybe playing with Barbie dolls, which I did do that. I had friends who had Barbies. Barbie was big during my childhood. It was the big deal when I was a child. For a girl to have a Barbie doll was like the best thing. So and then we would all get together and play with our Barbie dolls, and our Barbie dolls would have boyfriends, and they'd get in arguments, and they do all kinds of stuff. As a mother, I wasn't listening and going, oh no, Ken has a new girlfriend, you poor thing, running into Barbie saying, oh, I'm so sad for you. I wasn't doing that because, it was a game they were playing. It was not real. But, if my friend, her boyfriend found a new girlfriend, I would be like, oh, you poor thing. Ken has a new girlfriend. I'm so sorry for you. I mean, seriously, is that true? There's nothing there. It's no more real than that. No more real than that. So, get off it. Get off thinking that, someone else is worse off than you. Get off thinking that someone needs your sympathy, which is more of it than actual empathy that comes about. Recognize that everyone is sovereign unto themselves, and they're able to live their life without your interference, even your children. And I know I was Marcy. My two oldest sisters got married when they were 15, 14 and 15. And my other sister got married when she was 14. So you have no idea. 14 and 15-year-old girls can do just about anything, including getting married and having families, having children, etc. But that's, I mean, you talk about, hillbilly elegy or whatever, man, you can talk to me about that, that's a different kind of life. Anyway, Marcy, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I gotta laugh because I was like probably a terrorist to my parents with what I was doing when I was, oh, I don't know, around the same age, 14 or 15. Um, now that just threw that right out of my head. I was saying when I was thinking when you said that they got married at that age, and I'm like, not on my watch. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. No way, not gonna happen here. But I mean, what can I say? I don't know what their journey is. Are they still married?
Um, well, no. They're they're actually all but one have passed away, but
Oh, okay.
my oldest sister, her husband was killed in a mine accident. Um, my her next sister, remained married until she committed suicide. So and she did not have a very happy life. And then my third sister divorced her husband because he was molesting their daughters. So it's like, yeah, no, it was not good. They didn't have happy endings, any of them. Although my sister that she um, remarried and has had a wonderful life. But yeah, it is bad circumstances.
Yeah,
Yeah, did
that
you want to
sounds
say?
very rough.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it sounds very rough for them.
Yeah, yeah. But that was their story. That's what I
Yeah,
mean. That's what I have to look and say, oh man, do I wish that that never happened? How can I know? How can I
right,
know any of it? I can't. And then that's the thing that's so beautiful about this. We're not here uh for my story. We're here for his story.
right,
We're here to do excuse me, I see this more from terms of uh, like the in personal life, what I've been reading with Wayne, that we're really here to have the experiences that would show us exactly why we would never want to run away from God's love. Because when you choose to run away from God's love, you're going to have a lot of misadventures and things are going to happen. And it's only when you choose to remain with God's love that those experiences they're not necessary anymore. We only have them because we're here to learn the lesson. And how silly it is that we could know that that was the truth. Do you know that that's the truth? The only reason I'm here is to learn the lessons that God would have me learn. I mean, who in this room doesn't know that? Is this a mystery to anybody? No, no, absolutely. It's exactly what I believe from A Course in Miracles tells me this is the truth, and I've accepted that and I agree with it. Well, then why am I so resistant to doing what Jesus is asking me to do? Which is really very simple. Take 5 minutes today, every hour. 5 minutes today, every hour and remember this one thing, simple, simple, simple. And if I if I'm unwilling to do that, uh what is the other thing I'm willing to have? A life of pain and suffering. I mean, those are the two exchanges, right?
right.
Either I accept or I don't. And yeah, I would still prefer to be here in this place where I'm suffering. Obviously, although I'm not. I keep saying but honestly, I am not suffering. That's the thing that's so beautiful about it. I'm just recognizing, oh, okay, what's the lesson here? And let's learn that rather than sit here and feel bad. Go ahead, Marcy.
Oh, no, I think I mentioned it in the group previously, but I think, well, Keith makes an impression on me that I couldn't hear before. But there were two quotes I saw yesterday, which I can't bring up again. Well, I said that last time, but they're so powerful because it's like, well, what do you mean that this is the plan, that I go through this, whatever it is, like in the ego, I think I'm going through something and it's not even happening, but the lesson has been planned, you know. I find that rather amazing that I am actually entertaining that thought now. So,
Yeah, and planned by who? One whose only interest is my good.
right.
So the lesson itself, and I'm looking at today's lesson, which we've talked about a little bit, lesson 98. I will accept my part in God's plan for salvation. Is right away saying, I'm okay. Yeah, I will do that. And he says such beautiful things. Today is a day of special dedication. We take a stand on but one side today. We side with truth and let illusions go. We will not vacillate between the two, but take a firm position with the one. We dedicate ourselves to truth today and to salvation as God planned it to be. We will not argue it is something else. We will not seek for it where it is not. In gladness, we accept it as it is and take the part assigned to us by God. I mean, what else can you do? You're going to do it anyway. So let's see whose side we're on when we're doing it. I'm living in the world. I have to worry about, what to eat, what to drink, all that kind of stuff, maybe. But on God's side, I don't have to worry about anything. So everything is being taken care of for me. So the side I'm on is I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to think. I'm just going to allow myself to be led, guided, whatever. Um, Directed, as he says in our beautiful teacher prayer, directed. He's going to direct me. So I don't even have to worry about it. I'm just going to be directed. Go here, go do there, do this, do that. So how happy to be certain. How happy to be certain. That's all he's asking us, to take 5 minutes every hour and just spend that time being certain that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, that there is nothing wrong, nothing has happened, that it doesn't matter what it may appear out in the dream. In reality, nothing is happening. 5 minutes every hour. If you could just do that for 5 minutes for reals and know that, it makes a tremendous difference.
The thing, does he comment? I can't remember the quote, but is that quote about the path, the plan or the path of how you're gonna walk through this? It says gently planned, right?
Yes, gently plan.
Gently planned. And my ego says, oh, right.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah, what's gentle about, COVID? What's
Right.
gentle about getting my brains bounced around in a car accident?
Mhm.
What's gentle about, my child not talking to her friend? What's gentle about my mom telling me to be careful when I'm
35.
yeah. What's, what's gentle about that? Tell me. I'm sorry, but I mean, honestly, you have to laugh about this stuff.
It is funny.
It's hilarious.
It used to be stressful. Now it's funny to read it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, honest to God, I read this stuff and I just know Jesus is just laughing. But he's like, oh, because we're like the little child running up to Mama. Oh, Mama, they took my candy or whatever. And Mama's like, oh, here's some more candy or whatever. But not, not, you know, not believing that anything has really happened, that my child has been attacked and I need to go and attack you back because you attacked my child. No, that doesn't happen. In reality, there's nothing, no one is being hurt. No characters are being damaged in this play. Sharon, yeah, please go ahead.
I just thought about, like, you guys were talking about, or Marcy was talking about her mother. My mother never answered the phone without saying what's wrong. I mean, that is truly how her brain worked, because she had been in trauma her whole life. So when I would call, she'd go, "What's wrong?" like that. And that's a condition. I don't do it because I've done, a lot of this stuff. But as her daughter, it was always like, why does something have to be wrong if I call you? So you see what I'm saying? When we look at our parents, like what Marcy said about her mother asking her if she's all right when I was 35. My mother did this until she died. I mean, I was in my 50s when she died. Sometimes I feel so much compassion for our parents because they didn't have like the gifts that we've got, from therapy to the spiritual path, which was the 12 steps and the Course in Miracles. And that was a gift. Otherwise, we would probably be doing more of what we don't want. So it's something to be grateful for. That's all.
Absolutely, and thank you for that. Yeah, just it's so simple. Tough. People in the chat, but what you're not seeing is people in the chat are saying, I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm taking a break." And then Dove writes, "No breaks allowed."
I saw that. Yeah.
It's a marathon. All right. Okay. Let's see. So are we ready to go on to the next paragraph? Let's see. Did we read 5? Yeah, so let's read 6, because I was thinking this one needs to be kind of moved as you're reading. And would anybody like to read paragraph 6?
I'll read it.
Thank you, Sharon.
The meaning of love is lost in any relationship that looks to weakness and hopes to find love there. And that would mean if we see form, we are really seeing our weakness in our brothers. The power of love, which is its meaning, lies in the strength of God that hovers over it and blesses it silently by enveloping it in the healing wings. Let this be, and do not try to substitute your miracle for this. I have said that if a brother asks a foolish thing of you to do it. But be certain that this does not mean to do a foolish thing that would hurt either him or you. For what would hurt one will hurt the other. Foolish requests are foolish merely because they conflict, since they always contain some element of specialness. Only the Holy Spirit recognizes foolish needs as well as real ones, and He will teach you how to meet both then He will teach you how to meet both without losing either. So this is, once again, you have to just pause, because the prompts that show up, like for this mind, I sometimes just go on autopilot. Well, autopilot is always the ego. So it's best to actually pause for inspiration. Just pause for inspiration. That's all.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, Sharon, because that's really it. This is why anytime anybody asks anything or says anything to us, to stop and ask is the easiest thing, really. You may think it's easy to try to come up with, do I want to do this? Do I don't? Do I think this is right? Do I think this is wrong? Is this going to hurt me? Is it going to hurt you? Whatever. Just stop and ask, what should I do? And I mean, that's the habit we need to be in all the time. What should I do? What should I say? Where should I go? What should I do? What should I say, and to whom? All those questions, that because there's a plan that we were just talking about. The answer is already there. And All you have to do is just ask. And, if there's a conflict, if it's going to hurt somebody, then that it's not right. And, again, I say that, maybe at the time, if I had read this, I would have said, oh no, it's going to hurt me too much for Sandy to move in with us, because I would thinking that it was me that would be hurt, and that would have been dumb, because it didn't hurt me, at all. Me is wholer, more aware of my wholeness, more aware of myself, and literally happier now. So, I didn't realize at the time what all that was. So does anybody else have any comments about this paragraph? All right, then let's move on to the next. And this is the last paragraph of this section. So, do you want me to read? I can do that. Here, let me do this real quick. All right. You will attempt to do this only in secrecy, and you will think that by meeting the needs of one, you do not jeopardize another because you keep them separate and secret from each other. That is not the way, for it leads not to life and truth. No needs will long be left unmet if you leave them all to Him whose function is to meet them. That is His function and not yours. Get this, so whatever, my brother's asking me for, I can, think that, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that or whatever. But if I just allow the Holy Spirit to be in charge, that's His function. It's not mine. And I can't have one and not the other. It's not up to me. None of these things are up to me. So it's his job, not mine. He will not meet them secretly, for he would share everything you give through him. That is why he gives it. What you give through him is for the whole sonship, not for part of it. Leave him his function, for he will fulfill it if you but ask him to enter your relationships and bless them for you. So, I mean, that's really the answer to all of it. Ask the Holy Spirit, come into my relationship and fulfill it, heal it for me. Someone, said at one point, uh, don't ask for a holy relationship, because if you ask to make this relationship into a holy relationship, you are in for a roller coaster of uh, upset and misadventure, because you're going to see every reason why it's not holy. You'll see every reason that you're reluctant to have a holy relationship. You'll see, because a holy relationship is the Holy Spirit relating to the Holy Spirit, one to the other. The special relationship is the ego relating to the ego. And all the relationships that we are aware of really are ego relating to the ego. And so if we're asking for a holy relationship, we're asking for a relationship in which the Holy Spirit's the one who's calling the shots. And don't do that unless you really want that. Because when the Holy Spirit's really calling the shots, you have no control at all of any of it. And if you really want that, and that was what I really wanted. I wanted to have a holy relationship with my husband. I wanted to have a holy relationship with a person that I had a intensely special relationship with. And I had to be shown why why I didn't want the special relationship anymore. I really wanted the holy relationship, but I had to have that entire relationship completely shift and rearrange in order for me to actually see the holiness of it. And that's why when I read where Jesus says to us, if you really want to shift your vision and actually see things differently, then just choose a brother and ask to see him sinless. If you're willing to see him sinless, innocent, then you will be shown that he is. And seeing that, you will never ever be able to blame him for anything, be afraid of anything for him or from him. You'll never speculate on any part of you will just have a true relationship that is based on wholeness and love. And that's only possible because you've let every other kind of relationship go. And you are only allowing one type of relationship, and that is a relationship in which you are both innocent, holy, sinless, without any exception. And when I asked for that, and I said, I just want to be able to see one person is wholly innocent. And I started thinking, who could I see as wholly innocent? My granddaughter, my grandson, I had all these thoughts in my mind, who I was going to concentrate on seeing wholly innocent. And when the Holy Spirit said, what about your husband? I said, there's no effing way that I will ever be able to see him that way. It is not possible. Uh, and I realized because I didn't want to see that, I really wanted to see him guilty. I really wanted to see him guilty. And so the Holy Spirit said, that, the Holy Spirit didn't really say anything. Because at that time I was doing, before I went to sleep at night, I would ask the Holy Spirit to work with me through the night as I was sleeping, because I read in the course that, you can be learning when you're sleeping and dreaming at the same time. So, I thought, well, this dream, that dream, let's go for it. And so I asked for that, and I woke up in the middle of the night and looked over at my husband laying there, and I was like, oh no, now I have to, and I don't want to, but I did. And I just saw the layers of guilt that I had placed on him, peeling off like the leaves of an onion, just peeling off, peeling off, peeling off, until I actually did see that he was just the most innocent thing I'd ever seen in my life. That there was nothing guilty about him. And I cried. I was just so overwhelmed, first by grief that I had spent so much time being angry with him, and what a waste of my time, but also just joy of just seeing this person as my own open heart in the most loving way possible. And to be able to see that was such a miracle for me. Um, and I realized that I could do that for him. I could do that for everyone, anyone. It didn't really matter. Anyway, that's my story about true empathy. Does anybody have anything to say? I see Oddsy is here and waiting for Rub Wayne to come on in. But hey, Oddsy, how you doing, sweetheart? So
Good,
that's
good, good. Nice to see everybody be
yeah.
in bracket.
Love you, love you, love you. All right, so next week we're going to start on the power of holiness. Don't let me forget. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and close this and close down the YouTube. Thank y'all for hanging out with us and getting ready.